Check, check, check. What up, what up, what up? What up, what up? Good morning, good morning. We got just two watch list stocks today. Um, Hold on, give me one sec here. Actually, I'll go back to the disclaimer screen. Custom 1414. Bada bing, bada boom. All right. Hope you guys are doing well, feeling good. Remember that day trading. Remember that day trading is risky. So yesterday we did stick around till like 12 o'clock and traded, and we were able to get small green and got out. You know, the process, the journey continues here on working on our hold time. And by the way, I'll say this, right, because I'll be transparent. You know, there's something about the live stream that kind of pisses me off a little bit, which is that when I either take losses sometimes or miss trades, I kind of get even more frustrated than like normal when I'm on the live stream. It's something I've noticed recently. Like I kind of get into like a very, very enraged kind of like mind, and sometimes I gotta calm down and just watch the next setup because anybody can miss a trade, right? But yeah, so I kind of just I'm like, going, hey, let me just sit down, relax, and just keep watching the stock because obviously it was holding up, and if we did get through the resistance 63, we could have had a nice big move to $1 in a short squeeze. We did go from 50 to 63. That's where we got back from red to green again, and then it rejected, and then we left out right there. But today we got to do a better job when it comes to just staying a little bit more calm and also doing the right thing in the first place, which is to be a little bit more assertive, a little bit more aggressive in the front side, and you know follow through with our analysis and make sure that we do our best at taking every setup. We cannot be too precise and fixated on the entries, right? Because at the end of the day, it'll be plus or minus. We got to be a little bit more loose, and we got to be able to give the stocks a chance, right? So that's one of the bigger things we're focusing on today. In addition, as I'm watching ticker symbol AMZE and IVVD, those are my two stocks today. AMZE, IVVD. In addition, I want to keep in mind, um, the importance of scaling in and having a plan early in the dip, right? Understanding how much total size I want to take relative to, my stop loss in a trade and the risk that's involved in general in the position. That way I can have a very defined stop, spread out my trades and then look for the move back up. And if it's in the context of a bigger pullback, we just have to leave it alone and wait for the key levels such as VWAP, because far too often we're trying to buy into a previous high or a double bottom, but the stock is just giving that massive pullback right to the previous level. And so again, that's where the starter size is going to come into play, and we can potentially use smaller size even and have a smaller position in general to where we don't really lose much at all. If we do end up taking big losses along the way, we want to stay locked in, stay focused, and keep our head up and keep pushing forward. IVVD, if it doesn't quite give a good move, then that's fine. It all comes down to the opportunities, and so far this week and even last week we've been seeing more penny stocks than anything. So we'll see what we get here today. Time 9:23 a.m. So far on the stream, we have 200 people already tuning in. Hit that thumbs up that thumbs up. Little star, what's going on? What's up? What's up? Bala is in the building. Theory, what's up? What's up? There's the alarm for screen recording. In chat room, I see you guys as well. Although we have less people tuning in the chat today compared to normal. Where are, I'm going to call them slackers, right? Where's Big Steve and all the others, right? They're slackers here, going to sign in the last 2 minutes to go at the open. Slacking off. AO, Bob, Hollis. What's up? What's up? Limitless is also in the building. Alan, what's up? So watching just two stocks, we got the GOAT himself, Vitali, in the building. I'll shout out the live stream in the chat, by the way, and we'll keep going. By the way, you guys can also feel free to share the live stream to any trading friends that you might have who might be interested. You can tell them, hey, the People's Champion is now live. The People's Champ. The People's Champ. The most transparent trader in the world. Tommy, what's going on? What's up? What's up? Michael. Today, I'm looking to trade better than I did yesterday in terms of just the confidence, the quickness, the firmness. It's definitely different, right? I mean, I was watching back an archive even today from December of last year. And like what I'm doing now is like I have no excuse really, right? For a day like yesterday where I like missed a few trades after calling them out too. Like when I'm looking back at the craziness of what that type of market was, and like I'm there watching it this morning and like, bro, how in the world like there's just zero has it. The stock is going up $1 a share, down $1 a share, and I'm there with 5,000 shares just in and out, in and out. And it's like, bro, holy smokes! It's good to rewatch sometimes, right? In terms of just and what it really is, right? It's just a strategy that you feel good about and you trust, and so you have no problem just doing things, you know. And so as I'm adjusting to try to hold longer, less trades, over time as we gain more confidence and consistency and confidence, then we're going to be putting out even more size because with this type of longer, you know, slower, steady pace, there's going to be opportunities to take way more size, like triple, quadruple the size that we used to take. So once we're dialed in all the way, this next time around for them to try to purge me and purge me out the system, they're going to have to delete trading because this is candlesticks, right? It'll be good times. But for now, we'll continue to enjoy the process slow and steady. And maybe we put a little bit more size today, depending on how it's looking, right? For AMZE and the other tickers here that we have today. El Pastor. There was a penny stock in that archive I was watching at 80 cents. Our base small size was 25,000 shares. And that's small size back in December of last year versus now my small size is 4,000 shares. Yeah, IVVD might be in the depths. We got 2 minutes to market open. As mentioned, we're looking to be a little bit more firm, a little bit more confident. We always want to remind ourselves on those pullbacks to be careful with size, total size, our stop loss, and how we scale in. Other than that, it's time to have some fun. And we got to always remember that trading is this type of thing where we do it so often so that there's no reason to be anxious or nervous, but instead be cool, calm, and collected and look forward to the opportunities here. Isn't that right, MR and Big Steve, Triad? 352 people in the building. Can we get up there to 150 likes before the open? We got less than a minute. Less than a minute. AMZE looks like it's, the obvious one here. $10 seconds. Hit that thumbs up and let's rock and roll. Let's rock and roll. The pre-market today was mostly slow. It looks like we're going to reject the pre-market highs here early. As we know, the first minute or two can be a little choppy. I'm interested to see if 56 has volume, if it gets back up there. Guys, don't forget to hit the thumbs up as you're tuning in. Hit the thumbs up. There is quite a spread I'm noticing. Not a great fill. We could end up seeing it watching here. I wouldn't mind a tight pullback at all. Where did I get fill? 59.2. Watching and looking to see if we can get some continuation here over time. This one moves fast compared to the one yesterday. Like we can go up and down the penny much more quickly here. We can go up or down a penny much faster on this one. What's my at okay, 59 still not bad. It definitely looks decent. It looks good. We're over the pre-market highs for now. We're holding, you know. But 62 right now definitely is a bit of a small resistance. There's 61.7. There's 62. So I'm out of the resistance from a 59 entry and looking to get back in. Either it goes or it pulls back again. I don't mind the breakout if it does go. And if we get a little bit more extended at that point, I just want to be a little careful of the pullback if we don't see an extended, prolonged front side. I'm going to give it a shot, 62.5 for the breakout. Can we hold 62 and continue? Small size. Oh, I added 63 and not quite. Close one. It seems like it's holding though, but it's a little slower over 62.5. It's still here though, right? Despite getting over that high of 62, like we're still 62. Are we gonna end up pulling back here? Because typically I'd want to see 63.5, you know, a little more, a little more. It looks like we're pulling back. There's a candle on the 5 minute that's a little newer. Tough to say where we'll land exactly. There's 59.5. How low will we go? Taking a starter here, but not really looking to add, just kind of looking to see what it does. It could still be a little early, so not looking to take any sort of size, but just want to be in case it does end up holding tight. All right, we're going to get something out of that trade. It still has that tendency to move a little quickly. It's kind of having a little bit of trouble, but it's holding. I'm gonna throw out another order again. Small risk here, only one starter again. That was not what I would want there. I'll be watching the bear flag. Not what I would want to see out of that dip. I could have been out a little tighter, but I was kind of watching to see if we'll get a reclaim, but we lost like an extra cent, maybe even a little more. Green 120 out of that. I'll take it for now. Big Steve. The pennies are a little dicey. Guys, I'm going to be on vacation from the 26th to the 2nd or 3rd. Maybe even, yeah, I think the 26th to the 3rd. So the Mighty will be streaming for a week for the team. Any trusted chat room member, if you're interested, you can always reach out to me if you want to take the dance of trading in front of hundreds of people. You have to be a trusted chat room member. You can't be like, anybody because there's too much risk in doing that, right? I'm watching the bear flag here, by the way. In case we get a red to green. Do I want to watch it at low? I don't think so. I think I'm more so interested in it high. Sometimes these stocks will sneak back up. Sometimes. Like we're getting some volume here, maybe it gets back to 59 and then 60. A little 2 cents there. I'm selling that early for that 2 cents, but I'll take it. I'm going to size up a little bit. I'm going to try to use my two bigger hotkeys. It's sneaking back up a little bit here. Penny stock heaven. Penny stock heaven is what's happening right now. Another early sell. A little early sell right there. Did I get the fill? No, I didn't. It's a little risky and it's coming down. That was a little vicious. So it's a false breakout there. Now we're back at the VWAP. So now, I'd have to look for more of like an ABCD. Definitely a good looking setup there, failing, because we got from 57 all the way to 60. One man's trash is another man's treasure, you know, and one man's treasure is another man's trash. One man's trash. It is Christmas treeing here though. We're not holding up the VWAP at all. This same setup worked out nicely on the one yesterday like 100 times. This bear flag red to green here. Different day, less follow through, it seems. Now we're up 70 bucks. Something got halted. GAUZ. Let me take a quick look. If I show you guys the archive I was watching this morning, and you see the madness. GA. For those of you who are wondering, my charts are from Day Trade Dash. So far, it's a good experience. If anybody want to check it out, the links are down below. Of course, it's also a scanner package. And there's a 10-second chart as well for those people who love the sub 1 minute time frame. So far, so good. It's been a good experience using this. Since my Charles Schwab account got taken out, sniped, headshot. For those of you who don't know, my Charles Schwab account was banned like 2 weeks ago. I tried hitting the buy button and then I got rejected, right? So I'm looking in the chat. I'm thinking the stock is a stock that nobody can trade. And then I'm seeing people posting their P&Ls of the stock. And I'm like, well, something is not right. So, of course, being that I was with one platform primarily for most of my trading life span, trading career, I've been diversifying. CYPH. I've been diversifying. It seems pretty decent. Candlesticks looks good. The halt up is at 91, and we're definitely a little extended here off the last move. I can't see myself buying it here. I kind of need to wait for a setup. Dips, I think, could be good, but might be hard to determine the bottom, so treading lightly for now. Typically, our half and whole dollars don't usually hold up as well, but you know, we'll see. There's a seller 49. $0.05 risk, small position here. Couple hundred shares. We did buy up that seller. Time. Candlestick is about to close in 15 seconds. Will we continue into the new 5-minute candle? 1-minute candlestick to make the new high. That is around 57. Somewhere where I could potentially add to my position if it's going to be good here. Back on the sidelines. We might have had, let me double check, CYPH. CYPH. Yeah, that daily resistance was 54. VWAP is 23. Pre-market high is 23. We'll see if it holds up a little higher. Oh yeah, shit, bro. I gotta stop doing that, right? I keep forgetting to change the freaking thing. This is gonna be a disaster. You know, I'm just so used to Thinkorswim and not having the you know what I'll do? I'll have multiple things. I'm gonna do multiple order entries. Multiple order entries. CYPH. Jesus Christ. The rookie mistakes. See, there's like 4 of them, right? There's this chart here. There's the level 2. There's this one. And then even for the other platform too. Holy smokes. Maybe some days I just open up one platform. I don't know. And then my hotkeys kind of overlap too. So like I have familiarity with the hotkeys. But anyhow, we're having a 5-minute setup and the VWAP is all the way down to 23. So this thing could end up Christmas treeing here. See, this last setup, I mean, even this one was really good here, right? We held up tightly on the dip, curled up. Right here, we held up tightly on the dip, curled up. This time, doesn't look like we'll be holding up tightly. Opportunity is going to cost looking at the other stock here. If there's something obvious for the red to green, the 1-minute candle to make the new high, is it worth it? Probably not. Could be something though. You know, back over 45 could be something there. Also, initially I told myself like I'll use the other platforms for over $1. There's also that. CYPH, CYPH. I mean, AMZE is still looking decent. I might go back to it actually. You know, the penny stocks have just been stronger, right? The last 2 weeks. Dang, look at this sweet red to green, man. High 57, 58 to 61. Not bad. Not bad at all. It's a pretty quick red to green, too. The other one, I'm going to keep an eye on it. The volume is just, you know, a little tough. The volume is slowing down. It's the pullback is just in the slums. So 58 held up on the pullback, and the breakout trade. Do we have what it takes to push through? It's hard to tell if this one has a lot of short sellers. It doesn't feel like it yet. Although we've had consolidation, so people are definitely short. Do not false breakout. Come on. Hold up. We had 62? 62.5? 63? I got a pretty bad fill, actually. It felt like a penny higher there. Smaller size to see if we can retest. Yeah, look at the other one, right? Right off VWAP, I tell you. Jeez. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna miss it. I don't want to see below 59. Is it a double top? Maybe. Kind of a hard pullback there for this sweet bull flag and retest. This candlestick on the 5 will close in 2 minutes or less than 2 minutes. For now, we're still holding up the previous lows though, which is good. So we could try again eventually. CYPH right back up, man. Right back up. Sometimes you can definitely be flip-flopping a little too much. You know, you can miss some opportunities. 5 minute candlestick is about to close in a couple seconds, 40 seconds. Wow, 62. It's hard to trust it because we just saw this and then 50, 57, 58. Hold on, let me get back into a sweet groove on this one. Man, that 5 minute candlestick, I was hoping it would close and that would give me confirmation that we're holding up and we're like already back at the highs. Because there's a chance we could have had like a shooting star if we pulled back a little more in that 40 seconds. It's like right back down already. Right back up. I mean, I'll watch this range, a high or low, breakout or dip, and let's see what it does. High or low, high or low. The only thing about the day trade dash charts is that we're not seeing within like the 100th of the penny. It's showing the whole number, the whole penny rather, 57. Like to see the low here. Some small feedback. I'm open to trying one or two breakouts if it tries high here. Not the entries I want. I really ought to move this thing high next to my level 2 as well so I can see my fills a little quicker. Duplicate a window, pull it up. VWAP is here. Not that bad. VWAP is close. These entries, bro. These fills, rather. There was a small spread there, so I can't even be mad. But this trade is to just give it a chance here, see what it does. Although my risk with the smaller size is like thrown off a little bit with the higher fill. Yeah. I'm gonna watch to get back in. Fill there, just not what I need. CYPH, I tell you, man. Sometimes the opportunities will cost. So we're lower in the range. Luckily, we have the VWAP here because we did break down the lows. time, 10:04. And today I do have to leave 11:30, which is a little earlier. So if something comes in the afternoon, I'm not going to be here. If AMZE gives a good leg, though, I feel pretty good about it. I think we can get a couple $100 here, no problem. Okay. There's a new low again in the consolidation here. CYPH over 80. AMZE, I'm going to wait for a high of the flag attempt. $84, $83. CYPH just doesn't look like it's worth the scalps. Like that VWAP kind of a trade is like more so, you know, it's more so the entry. Like we broke over 80, we're still at 80 here. 20 seconds later, 30 seconds later. So just a little unfortunate though to switch away from this one and miss this red to green, and then coming back to it and missing the red to green on the other one. Those two areas could have been really nice to get something. Right now we're down 140. Keeping it tight, but hoping that we get another leg out of one of these. Well, preferably this one. AMCE. We needed to give an amazing move and not this slow sluggishness. CYPH, bigger pullback there. HCWB halted up. Just so late of an entry, but I'll take the half cent. Time 40. It definitely looks interesting in this area. Oh, come on. What's that? What's that? Or like giving back that progress from that last 5 minute candlestick. Definitely got to be patient. Keep waiting. Taking the VWAP dip 54. Couple cents. My fills though, I don't know. That damn, not good fills. We should have made a full penny there at least. That was kind of brutal. What that means is that I got the uptick fill on that dip at like 55.6 and probably out at like 55.8, 55.9. There was a small spread in there, which is fine, but the fill could have been a little quicker. See, this is an interesting candlestick because if it does end up, get holding up nicely and holds the line here where we had the previous support, then maybe there's a chance it goes again or tries again. If not, low of day might be incoming. Low of day could be incoming. It is hanging by a thread. Definitely looking like it's struggling here. Like, seems like we might come down to more. It's the kind of day where I feel like I had the day in control. Like I still feel in control, but I kind of missed those two sweet red to green moves, and then some chop. The 5 minute the 5 minute chart is now not looking so good after that candle is going to close there on the 5. It's looking a little bit more like this is a pretty good looking chart if we move this candle out of the way here, right? Now we're looking like we could start seeing a bit more of a sell off. This is where I switched away the first time, and then of course it gave this huge red to green here. So what I don't want to do is completely look away, and then if it does give a massive red to green again, I'm missing it. So I'll keep an eye this time. It does seem like a slower day here though. I think it's the first red day of the week so far in this one. AMZE. Guys, don't forget if you're watching on YouTube to hit the thumbs up. And there's the P&L for the day. We didn't really trade any size in the other accounts, so we're pretty flat. It is looking like a slow day. How's the mighty looking? Is he still here? Yeah, the mighty's still here. The mighty's live in the chat room. He's looking at AMZE. Oh, I read that wrong. Never mind. For those of you on the live stream, how are you guys doing? My mic is too low. It's because I'm not. Hold on, I'm speaking very softly, and then I'm not speaking into the mic. That should be much better. AMZE again, looking like the sell-off. Going short, of course. Short sellers gonna get something here. Looking like the sell-off was imminent with that last 5-minute candle closing lower. How's the mic now? Is the mic sounding a little bit better, or do we need to crank up the volume? Yeah, I've been like talking pretty softly and away from the mic. Gotta bring some life energy. Is this market, man? Like, it's just so slow that like even how I'm talking is kind of just like a low pitch. CYPH, I think, is just gonna be a tough one to trade, and AMZE selling off. I definitely could be going short, I think. Of course, I mentioned this with how the 5-minute candle closed, it was looking like we're going to sell off, right? I probably should be short in that trade and making something on the way down. CYPH. it's perking up a little bit, but just it's just not going to be a good one the way how it's looking for me. I think that VWAP setup was super obvious. I think right now the way how it's grinding up, there's just not much there. So it's 10:20. It's early. There's not much hitting the scan, so it's the waiting game here. Let me check the chat. Let me check the scans. Just make sure nothing else is moving up. We need another penny to come save this day. We need another penny. I'm feeling like Big Steve right now. I'm down 166. It's like a terrible amount to be down. It feels like, when having a day that was right there for the taking. This is a day to be walking away $300 for me at this time right now. Bro, yesterday was the kind of a day though to like be up thousands, tens of thousands even. Like I was there furious during the live stream and then I'm like, you know what? Okay, calm down, breathe. Just take these trades and hold them longer, right? Take the setup, hold it a little longer. And we got up to $500 with small size and then we ended up giving back like 180 off the top with a bigger size trade. But it's like if you're there all day from the start, just fully dialed in, giving every one of those setups a chance, being in and giving it that time to open up. Sometimes for me, I can sell before my stop. Just too many things that are just still reminiscence of like, the previous style of how I would be in and out so quickly, right? There's like demons that I'm fighting to just suppress and eliminate ultimately to trade better with the slower moving market. Because typically in the past, like we'll be in on a dip and it's like within 5 seconds we're back up 20 cents, Or context for penny stock, we can flush down from 55 cents to 53 cents and we're back up to 54 and a half, 55 within 3 or 4 seconds, within 2 seconds. And so there was no need to ever hold when I can just keep taking that cent or two every single time over and over and over. Now it's taking a full minute to even get 1 cent. So it honestly, really and truly, like saying it out loud. It's like what everybody needs to do that might be having issues now is extremely simple. But as we know, saying it and doing it is two different things, right? It is very simple what we should be doing, but and it's why too, the quicker you can make an adjustment, the better you will be ultimately in terms of the speed, right? The speed of which you'll see the profits again, like the massive gains. Pastor taking weeks and months to keep making this adjustment. Like I'm fighting demons here every day, slowly and steadily trying to slay one at a time without reverting back to old, you know, tactics. But it is why though, like this with the stock market, I think for people who are here seriously, we will never have to work jobs like normal jobs ever again because there's just gonna be opportunities no matter what. It could be hotter, it could be slower, it could be, you might have to make adjustments, things like that. But the opportunity, look at this drop here, the opportunity to make money is going to be present all the time, every time. Not to be taken for granted. AMCE bigger drop there, short sellers getting some more out of their short. What's also interesting is, we'll see if things do like heat up to the point again where we're seeing stocks move how they used to move. We will also have another strategy we can trade, right? Or maybe we don't even trade it at all, depending on if this one is just simply better. The adjustments are just simply better, even for that type of environment. Because maybe it could end up being that way. There are a lot of days where, we sell for 60 cents gain with 5,000 shares, but the stock goes up another 80 cents. CYPH approaching $3. Again, it's just not my cup of tea, the way how it's grinding up, so not gonna bother. I mm, there could be dips, like red to green dips I could look at. That's the only thing I'm seeing that could make sense. That's the only thing I'm seeing that can make sense. Any sense at all. This is where they're gonna post the McDonald's job application in the chat room. Dips aren't working, breakouts aren't working. Big Steve, time to go short. Short sellers getting paid on this AMZE flush out here. It would be so nice to have everything in one broker, but man, it seems like you gotta have like 100 platforms sometimes. So luckily the ones that we're using now are pretty decent, pretty good. E-Trade Pro is I actually gotta switch over to powered by E-Trade today. That's gonna have to be till around like 4 p.m. I don't know why, but they're getting rid of the E-Trade Pro software. Powered by E-Trade. The powered by E-Trade software, when I last checked it out, was just not to my liking at all. Hopefully, that was a couple of years ago. Hopefully by now it's like pretty decent. If not, I might move my swing account somewhere else. But I mean, it's a swing account at the end of the day, right? It doesn't need to be anything. All you got to be able to do is hit buy, hit sell. That's it for the swing account. For me personally, the way how I'm swinging and what type of stocks I'm swinging, um, I mean, every platform will have special order types, but you know, I don't need anything special. Bear flag, red to greens. Pretty weak here, but this one a little bit more decent follow through. This one had rejected earlier. Even this setup here a little bit more tricky because of the topping wicks. Twice we curled up and back down before the third time going nicely. You can see people might have had some trouble with this stock. CYPH again, just you know, not really anything obvious there for me. So on the sidelines, watching and waiting. If you're tuning in on YouTube, don't forget our disclaimer. Remember that day trading is risky. Scanner's a little slow right now, not seeing much hitting the scans. Risky business. I was supposed to record another success story like 2 weeks ago. But the individual, I'm not sure if they changed their mind. Maybe. Honestly, I might shut it down soon. The day trading team. You know, times are getting tough when you're trying to cancel a subscription that you have, and on the website you can't find a button that says cancel subscription. Is that legal? I've noticed a couple of companies that like they're making it very difficult for you to cancel your subscription. Is it that serious? Or is it that scammy? Like, you know, like I don't know. Doesn't seem like it should be legal. One company I'm trying to cancel a subscription, I have to call them to cancel the subscription. There's no way to do it on the website. No trades for Ross today. No trades. Ross the boss. No trades. Shout out to Kitty, man. Kitty, such a great editor. This guy just disappeared. The Vegas vlog. And the boys were looking clean in this one. The boys are looking clean here. Hey. The Mighty, the Tim, and the Pastor. Man. I think that was like 2 years ago already. All marble, all granite. Nice. There's nothing to trade. There's nothing. And my swing trades are down a little bit because of this pullback. The SPY is probably dipping a little bit more today. No, SPY curling up a little bit actually. El Pastor. The behind the scenes of the small traveling trading station. The small traveling trading station there. For those of you looking on screen. Oh yeah, this event was insane, man. No, Mighty showing a little too much. This event right here was insane, man. I can't even remember what the club was called, but the amount of money that and shout out to the brokers because we didn't have to spend anything. I think it was Centerpoint. I hope it was Centerpoint. So I'm like giving them the credit, but they were balling out for like 20 of us traders this night. Shout out to Strong Trader. He was there. Strong Trader, Humble Trader was there as well. Saint Lucci, I think is the guy's name. You know, you can't seem like a fanboy, right? It's like I couldn't go to Humble Trader and be like, hey, like, you know, jump in my vlog, take a picture. It's gonna look a little too crazy. I remember at that seminar, it's like you're talking to people and they're like, oh yeah, I watch you. It's like, oh nice. At the end of the day, people are people, right? Anybody, if you want, you can always go back and watch these videos. They're on the channel. The Mighty Pastor, Tim. I believe Crispy was here on this one. Dang, Will, bro. Holy smokes. We flew this guy out We flew this guy out and paid for everything for him on his trip. Shout out to Will. Good guy, man. Will's a good guy. William. Why it's so slow? It's so slow. I'm gonna check the comments for like 5 or 10 minutes, and then I think I might shut it down. Let me see what the people are saying. CMBM multi-day continuation, although lighter volume. I mean, I guess there's some volume there, but it just doesn't look super obvious, you know? But it's moved up. It's moved up for sure. 290 to 340, and then again over here from 330 to 370. This is definitely boring, is what they'll call boring trading, you know? It's not flashy, it's not exciting, but if you're in on the reds or greens here, you can catch something going back up. Well, what I can say about humble traders that I know from like talking to her, I had like an hour FaceTime with her, right? And she felt like somebody I knew for years. It's kind of how it went. Like she seemed pretty cool. If you can't do mental stops, you might have to do maybe like bracket orders. Um, you should be able to set it up through limit orders in your platform. Although I've never done one, so you might have to like if you need to check out a video on YouTube for like a tutorial, or if that doesn't help, you might have to call in, and if anything, they can always assist you with whatever platform you're using. But I'm pretty sure there's a way to do that. If there's not, then that's pretty ridiculous. Every platform, from Schwab to Webull to you know Guardian, it just comes down to the order type. You have to, and maybe you might even have to build like a hotkey. But yeah, you just have to make sure your time and force is set right, and you have the ability to oh, it sounds like you already do, right? Have the ability to trade extended hours. Come on, guys, you got to put some respect on the big dogs' names. But everybody has their opinion, right? Like if someone like Humble Trader is watching this video and reading the comments, like people will say anything, as we know. So it's part of the deal. Part of the deal. I don't usually get on anybody's case really, unless they're like just like you have to just be saying something just outside of the rules, really, right? When it pertains to like religion, racism, and politics, or just you're just a character, right? We've had to ban a couple of people for just being silly. Every day they're coming in to like beef with each other, like if this is some sort of like fighting ground or something. Definitely have to get more strict. But yeah, in terms of the bigger traders in the community, I mean, only for each trader themselves. Like I know who I am, right? So I could only speak for me. I don't know everybody else's situation. I can only see from the outside as a viewer myself and draft my own opinion. So if my opinion is different from some other people here, then that's fine. But for me myself, if you guys want to tell, if you want me to tell you guys, did I say that right? If I'm to tell the audience who I am and what I do, I could do that any day, all day. That is no problem. Translucent. Translucent. And if you guys watch The Boys, that final season should be good. Right? Speaking of translucent. And if you're someone looking to get into a show to watch, I'd recommend it. It's pretty it's maybe not the best show ever, but it's solid, I'd say. Because people they talk more about Games of Thrones and then Breaking Bad, I think. I never watched those two shows ever, but apparently those two are like the bigger shows. You made over 300K in 1 month in the past and lost over 200K because you can't seem to stop out. Well, I think one of the biggest things when it comes to stopping out of a trade is is a plan, right? Meaning before you even go long, you have to determine a couple of things. Your profit target and your stop loss, right? And even for myself, I was mentioning earlier today and yesterday, scaling into certain trades, understanding your total size that you want to take in the trade relative to the stop in the trade, right? That along with the range of where you're getting into the setup, right? So if we're taking a trade, let's just throw out an example out there, right? If I'm buying a stock at $10 for a breakout trade, let's say, and my target is 11, and I say to myself, hey, our previous support, was 970. I'm willing to risk 30 cents to make $1 share. Everything looks good about the trade, sounds good about the trade. When the stock comes down to 930 or 970 rather, and I'm down 30 cents unrealized. Once for me, and a lot of the students I spoke to, it seems that it's easier to stop out of the trade when we know and understand that that's the plan. Like we already calculated that if this thing breaks below 970, we're hitting 960, that we're bailing out because at that point our hypothesis for the stock is not working, and rationally, fundamentally, even emotionally, it doesn't make sense to still be in the position because the odds of it working is now that much lower below that particular level. So it can become a little easier to pull the trigger and stop out when the stock is in that type of place versus if you're just in and you're not really thinking about where the stop should be or what your stop is, and you're improvising in the trade in the moment. And then that can lead to a bunch of different factors of you thinking maybe you can hold it longer, maybe you can give it a wider range, maybe you can average down, and then there's no like fixed plan, and then that leads to you doing and going all different routes, and then you end up taking like a bigger loss than you anticipated. So especially when you're hyper scalping, it's like a lot of trades very quickly in a very short amount of time. And even then, you still have to do it. But if you're trading slower, especially like longer trades over time, that in itself is an advantage too. That you can think more about what your stop loss and everything should be, before you get into the position and have it set when the trade starts to play out. We have to make sure to have a plan every time. Profit target, stop loss. If we're scaling in over a range in between, because sometimes support might not be one single price, but a zone. Let's say support is between 10.50 and 9.90, and the stock was at $15. Then you have a 60-70 cent place of where support could be, and you have to determine, okay, how do I want to scale into this zone? How much size do I want to take? How much do I want to risk in this trade if it does end up breaking down below the support? That way you have a very sound trade idea. Improvising sometimes can, some people can pull it off and manage very well like that, but sometimes you kind of need a fixed plan to keep you grounded. Can RT set up an only stocks account where he live streams him reacting to the voice? My voice or the show, the voice? Everyone playing the new Call of Duty. For those of you who are gamers, I was pretty legit in Call of Duty. I was pretty good, you know, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, and Black Ops 2. I kind of retired after that because, they got into too much boost jumping, which I never really enjoyed. 2.5 KD online across all game modes. Very efficient in all game modes. Favorite game mode might have been Search and Destroy because of just the suspense and knowing that if you get taken out, you can't come back until the next round. Of course, Team Deathmatch and Domination was just, stomping grounds. Played on some really good teams, was master rank in league play, and there were some stiff competition though. I mean, it's almost like trading, right? Like sometimes you'll come across people who are also like just insanely good. There are two people especially that I remember who, I don't know though. It's hard to say because back then I couldn't really afford everything, so these people they might have had an edge on me, right? I think they had better equipment, so it's hard to say if I could have like maybe been a little bit better on their level. But these guys had the most expensive headset, the scuff controller with the extra button, you know, the best internet connection. Here's a small red to green on CMBM. Small red to green here. Quick scoping, not so much my thing. Quick scoping was not my thing at all. I was more, assault rifle and SMG. For those of you who are familiar with that type of gaming. 1v1 on Rust. But I think I was better in Black Ops 2 out of all of them, but definitely close relative in the other two. Those are some interesting times, I mean, it's different now. Like nowadays, you have more responsibilities. I'll still game from time to time. I'll go on the game, but like not like before, Like now I don't have the time to invest to be at that level. And so it almost feels like it doesn't make sense. Because then I'll just be there and losing, Like I'll be losing and not able to put in the time to get better, which is a problem, right? Like on the contrary to like trading, right? Like if you're struggling, you can like size down and just keep putting in that time, keep making adjustments, and slowly you start to see the progress again. But if I'm not able to be consistent with putting in hours and hours there, it just seems pointless, you know? I can't go to being like a casual person there. Just it's not going to be fun. It's all about the winning in the end, right? I think yeah, so Black Ops 2 may be the most competitive one for me, and I think I was the most skillful in that one. Black Ops 1, I think the most fun I've had. Like I had a lot of fun on that one. And then MW2 was a mix of both. Although I had a sibling who was really he was really good. I don't even think I saw his team lose one match ever. They would actually in Search and Destroy, they'll lose the first 2 rounds. Like they'll just start with their C4 and like just, you know, blow up, give the team the first 2 rounds, and then all the way that's how they'll start, just to even have like competition. But with that being said, there was no like rank play back then to where everyone who you're playing against is just as good as you, right? Will the kids be future traders? It all depends, you know. If I do like diversity, but you know, like if they're following it up and it makes sense, then yeah. But if not, you know, you do whatever your passion is, or whatever makes sense, depending. Because sometimes you might have a passion for something that you know might not be paying well, and this world that we're living in right now, you kind of need to have something, right? But there's a lot of opportunities out there, a lot of different careers, a lot of jobs. But being able to pass on a lot of the information, like financially, you know, in terms of just how to manage money, what the stock market is, and how to be involved in it, that in itself is just such a good advantage because there's just so many people that don't know how to manage money at all, or don't know what money really is and how it can be utilized. I mean, we see it all the time, right? My sibling told me just the other day, this guy in his workplace stole $20 out of a purse of a coworker, right? The guy gets paid $40 an hour. You know, I guess not the best pay, but you know, I guess not minimum wage at the same time. It's like the guy is doing all right for himself, right? The guy who stole the money. And so they run the cameras back, they catch the guy, and it's like bro, like so he gets fired, right? He gets fired, and it's like you lose your job for $20, like just things that just doesn't make any sense. Like that risk to reward. If you're gonna lose your job, you better be losing your job for $2 million payout or something. You know, like something that makes sense. Like if you're gonna do it, like the risk has to be some sort. The reward has to make some sort. Like you need to be robbing a bank at this rate, than to be taking $20 and doing nothing and getting fired. Like the loss there is just pretty silly. CMBM, red to green. This is what trading is nowadays, right? Like waiting for something like this to start moving up a little bit, getting in, putting a stop, and just, you know, pretty like boring, slow trading. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, 40 an hour is, you know, it kind of depends. I say it like that because it depends. Like, it really depends on, like, it depends. We had this conversation in the chat room 2 years ago, and actually 3 years ago. We were talking about if $100,000 a year is good money. And it really depends on the person. I'm not gonna say that it's not. For me personally, I'd say it's nothing, right? For what I've seen money to be, but for someone else who's in a different situation, and back then I said it was a lot, right? Just how things change. For someone else who's in a different situation and they've never made that kind of money before, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a boost in there, especially if you're coming from 40K a year, 50, 60K a year. You get a 50%, 40%, 60% increase in income. You're definitely going to be able to do more, have a better lifestyle, your health, things like that. But, if you're someone who's seen money through a different lens, then 100K, like this is of course an extreme example, but a guy like Elon Musk, you ask him what's 100K, and he'll probably laugh. You know, we've even seen people. It's a little bit of a darker topic, but we've even seen people commit suicide in relation to the market and losing a lot of money, and they still had far more than 100K in their account after the loss. So you'd ask yourself like, okay, your 86 million turned into 300,000. Why go through with something like that, right? But it's definitely a tough thing when you look at the what money is and like the lens and perspective of where you're coming from in relation to money. But there's a lot of money out there. There's a whole lot of money out there. I mean, it's insane. Yeah, family size, location also matters pretty. It's a pretty big part of the pie because coastal cities here in the States, you're going to be paying more cost of living, property taxes, things like that, mortgages. Now, if you have a really high income or salary and you're living inwards where things are cheaper, then you're always also at a surplus or at an advantage, let's say. 100K. I remember back then, like, 'cause that year I think I made 58,000 from trading. Marcelo was there, Rat the Green was there, Twin, shout out to Twin, and then a few others, right? I there's like 25, 30 people there in that chat, right? We're all like having a voice conversation with our mics. I mean, from then to now, I mean, like even the team, the trading team itself, like the numbers that everyone's been able to produce over time and since then, I'm pretty sure even Marcelo, if we were to have the conversation with him again, he'd say something different, right? Going from like 90K to where he is now. This space also is a very interesting space as it relates to money because nowhere else in the world would I feel comfortable about losing $166 and it not bother me in the slightest, right? Normally, if I lose this money out of my wallet, I'd feel depressed in a way, like, man, I just lost 300 bucks, or a day. Let's say I have a red day of like 1,000, right? Like, imagine if you lose $1,000 out of your wallet, you feel like, man, it's different, right? Like, it's different. This space is different. It's more business. We understand the risk, the reward. And then there's the biggest green days ever where I'm up, 20,000 plus, and it's like it also doesn't feel like anything really. Steve calls me after, how do you feel? And it's like it feels like a day where I executed well is how I feel, rather than like you kind of get a little numb to it, honestly. Yeah, like this is a slower year. Like income wise, is like a slower year for me, and it feels like I'm dragging my heels. And I mean, I can't really disclose how much money I've made. It's over six figures, I could say that. But like overall, the income source, like streams of income, and it just feels like this is just like it feels like the depths, compared to prior years. It feels pretty depthsy. And we've had that conversation too with people who've made far more than I've made. We've had a couple of traders been, around 30,000 a day in the chat room. That's dropped down to like 1K a day. And actually that's back when we're having the same conversation. It's already since 3 years ago, right? There are people making 30,000 a day 4 or 5 years ago. And in 2022, were telling us about how it feels to be making 1 to 2K a day after that type of high. You're coming from not being profitable or just a few dollars a day, $100 a day. You're hearing 1 to 2K a day, and it's like that's the dream, right? At that time, but you understand very well what this person was feeling now, right? We're telling this guy that he's losing his mind for not being excited about 1 to 2K a day. One to 2K a day. Although I'd love to see what it feels like, because I guess where you really feel it is in your lifestyle, right? I'd love to feel what it's feels like to be at 30K a day. 30K a day is pretty much the richest of the poor people. The richest, no, 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 the poorest of the richest people in the country. I think that's the saying there. The poorest of the richest, like 5% of people, are making like 30K a day in the country. The poorest rich person. Actually, no. It might be that might not be that bracket because I might be thinking monthly. Like 30 to 50K a month might be the poorest rich people. 30K a day is a little bit more up there. Yeah. 30K a day is a little bit more, upper, but still not quite the real big dogs. Some serious income though, right? After just 1 month, after just 1 year, you're looking very, very sound. Retirement money, all expenses paid, property or properties, depending. Especially if you can get a nice 5 year stretch of that in. I've been trading for like 6 years. This is actually not the slowest market I've ever seen. What's different or unique about this market is that the strategy that I'm trading, needed a lot of adjustments and still needs some adjustments for me to see bigger and better gains again. We've been, if you ask me, I'd say we've been targeted for being too, like too transparent. Like it makes me wonder about certain like people. Like it's a strange world we live in because we are the most transparent traders that there ever was and will be, right? Like we there's nobody, like I don't care what anybody says, like we're the best. Like myself, Marcelo, the team house, like we are by far, we're by far like the best traders, the most transparent traders that the market have ever seen. And we taught so many people, right? We've taught a bunch of people. I mean, we're still teaching a lot of people too. And I almost feel like, with all of our exposure, like it almost seems like it was just like a calculated move. Am I a conspiracist at this point? People might say like, all right, here goes RT overthinking everything, right? But this was just too clean. It's good. I'm gonna keep saying it's good business, right? And I'm talking like this so people know, like, bro, this is just real. Like this is as real as you'll ever hear anybody ever talk in this space. Like, they're like, bro, these people, this community is just too hot. Like they're just too good. Like they're doing too well. And they have to like shake us down a little. Like if someone on the streets come and like shake you down almost like. So we're rebuilding, we're rebuilding to be even better. And I'm already looking forward to the challenge because the time is gonna come again where we'd reach even new highs, and then they're gonna probably try and shake us down again. And then there's this, it's every 5-10 years we're just gonna keep doing it again and again and again because the market will be here, and as long as the market is here, there's gonna be opportunities. It's not gonna stop. So the interesting question will be, what will they say next, right? 5 years from now, when the community is 5-10 times the size even again, and we're having 10 50k day, 10 20 30 40 50k days every single day. They're going to come again, and what is going to be their excuse the next time when we have even more millionaire students, right? People might right now listening to this might say, this guy is nuts, he's crazy, he's like lost his mind. But I can see this so clearly. Like I can see this stuff so clearly. Just like how I saw these moments here right now. It's like we already saw this already. Like none of this is not a surprise to anybody who knows what's going on. Like it is what it is. It's part of the deal. It's good business. And so, once we're doing our thing again, we'll see what happens next. Am I a conspiracist? Nah, I don't think so, man. But hopefully being too real doesn't cause me trouble, because then I don't want to get into that type of battle. That battle is just, as long as these people can play fair, like and when I say these people, I mean like the brokers, the market makers, everybody in that line of work, then we have no problem, right? Because trading will be trading at the end of the day. Candlesticks, patterns, you win, you lose, you manage your risk, XYZ. The community is going to be 10x. Our profits are going to be 10x, and it'll be special. We might have something so crazy like the entire community on one massive ship, like an entire cruise ship or something crazy like that. Like these are the type of levels that we're hoping to reach one day, because we're going to be here for a very long time. A very long time. Can you imagine an entire ship of day traders at sea? At that rate, maybe if we're lucky, the internet is so good that we could actually trade a few days out of the vacation. It's like, forget a regular boot camp, forget a regular meetup. Like we'll do like a 7-day cruise or something. Couple hundred people one time. Very grand ambitions. Okay, maybe I'm ranting too much. Time to shut it down. Yeah, I know some people are gonna be laughing, right? I know it's hilarious. Hey, if I'm a conspiracist, maybe I'm a conspiracist, right? I could be, and I'm like totally in my own head, possibly. More than likely, that's the case, anyways. But I want to be transparent enough to say that that's a possibility, and that could very well be true. Level two, trade from the ocean. Level two, comes down to screen time, but you can definitely learn the basics, whether on YouTube. If you're part of the community, we have chapters on there on level two. But if you're just someone who's checking out the channel, you can maybe check out a couple videos online, and then from there, it's going to take time to get used to looking at everything. It might seem really fast at first, but once you keep looking at it, it starts to slow down a bit. But yeah, I'm gonna shut it down here. You know, small red day here for Friday. I don't know. Getting Ross into the team house is definitely a possibility. Although, I'm very sure Ross is a very busy man, managing himself, the family, his business. It'll be a tight squeeze if we're going to be able to get him. But I can see him coming there for like a day or two, maybe 3 days out of the week. Might not be able to stay the entire 7 days. Ross is Marcelo is more close with Ross than I am, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm pretty sure that it could happen, right? I mean, Tim and Marcelo are like, I'd say they know Ross a good amount, right? If we get him, I think it'll be pretty cool you know, it'll be a pretty cool experience. And obviously maybe he can teach us a lot of things. Being that he's such a high level trader, we can learn something. And maybe we're able to teach him something too, you never know. But beyond that, it'll be good for just fun, networking, having a good time. All right, okay, I think that's it. Shutting it down. Enjoy the weekend. Stay safe, stay green. I'll catch you guys later. Monday will be the 17th. Actually, okay, I'm leaving till the 26th, so I'll have two, or I guess a week and a half of trading. Thanksgiving is on the 20, I think the 28th, and the 27th is I think the market is usually closed this day, or it's half day. And then okay, and then it'll pretty much be December at that point. All right, guys, take care, stay safe, stay green. The conspiracist is signing out. Aye, aye, aye. Triad, am I going mad? Or am I speaking facts? All right, catch you guys later. Or am I speaking